right, so 7:04, we'll call meeting to order.
Absolutely.
All right, so Mary, Marilyn, I see you on. You want to go ahead and kick us off there?
Yeah.
Is Becky also UPC?
No.
No.
Looks like it.
Hi,
Hi.
Hi, Becky.
I'm a citizen asking to have an audience with the commission at some point, and I guess that happens at the end.
We could do that at the beginning if you want,
Sure
so you
thing.
don't have to wade through the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever your standard operating procedure is.
Sure. Yeah, so we'll let Marilyn go first and
Want her to go first?
discuss.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to probably be at least 10 minutes.
That's fine. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Oh,
All
I'm
right.
sorry, Rick, you're the
No, that's yeah. I mean, I kind of had already kicked it off with pickleball going. So
Okay. All
Yep.
right. Well, thank you for adding me on to the meeting. But I primarily wanted to talk about the specifics of the indoor program. As far as how players are going to sign up, I know they're going to sign up on the Upton Rec website, but how is that going to look? What's going to be the cost and that sort of thing? So if you could kind of elaborate on that, Maria.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when we were emailing back and forth the other day, it was originally set to open this Saturday, but
Right.
nothing will show up until we're open. So now that we've pushed it back because 2025 will remain free or included in the annual fee. And for Retcom, I spoke to Dennis about that. He gave us the okay. So we're going to start that in January. So you won't see anything on the website new until it actually opens.
So that's been deactivated until January.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So in emailing with Eileen and emailing with you, it seems like you all wanted to keep everything the way we've always done it for the remainder of 2025, organized through Playtime Scheduler. And then starting in 2026, when the fee will start, we'll take over the registration.
Okay.
The way that'll look is, and actually if you pop on volleyball or yoga, you'll see it basically exactly how it'll look. They both have a monthly option. Ours is just going to be phrased a little differently. But what Retcom had decided is we're going to give everyone a specific slot for the month. So Chris, I don't know if you have in the minutes, I don't want to misquote, so I'm going to actually just ask you to go to the minutes because that was one of my clarifications about the specific cost. I think I have it in my head, but I don't want to misquote. But I'll give you a sec to look that up while I explain. So basically, somebody will go in and the system will open and then they will sign up for example, every Saturday from 8 to 10 of January. And
So
they'll pay.
What will that be a selection like yoga? So will it say Upton pickleball, Upton?
It'll say indoor pickleball and it'll be with the programs, whereas usually pickleball is under membership. It'll be with the programs.
Programs, okay.
Yep. So it'll pop up, it'll say indoor pickleball, and then they'll go ahead and they'll select the dates. So basically they'll select, I would like January Saturday mornings from 8 to 10. And then that person, one of 8, would all get every Saturday morning in January from 8 to 10. And so they would pay a fee for the whole month because they're getting 4 to 5 sessions all in one fee. But it's just the Saturday mornings 8 to 10. Then a different 8 people can sign up for Saturdays from 10 to 12. And a different set of 8.
They can't sign up for more than one day, one session per weekend.
Well, so that was in my email to you as a question. The way I currently have it set up is they can only sign up for one session per day. If you'd like me to make it per weekend, I can. But right now I have it, you could sign up for one session on Saturday, but not more than one, and one session on Sunday, but not more than one. And that's all the Saturdays or Sundays of that whole month.
Okay.
So you can get back to me, again, now that we're not starting till January, we have a little bit of time, but that was one of the clarifying questions.
Yeah.
But currently I have it where you could technically sign up for Saturday and Sunday, but only one session.
Okay,
You also have to be a current active pickleball member, which means that starting in January, it has to be the 2026 annual membership. We used to kind of bleed it sometimes in January to allow people to show up indoors if they haven't registered yet. So now the system won't allow them. It has to be they've registered for 2026 pickleball annual fee.
and they can't do that until January 1st. It
No,
won't
we'll open it probably in December.
open for 2026.
Yep. I think last year I did it December 1st to give them kind of a whole month to sign up before anything starts.
Okay,
And I looked back in the minutes and I think we were gonna determine the price based on what the credit card fee was supposed to be.
Okay, so I think in looking at it, I think we had zoned in at if we want to keep it the same as volleyball and yoga. So I think we had looked at if we call it, quote unquote, $2 a day. So really it's
Right.
either 8 for the month if there's 4 of that
Right.
date in the month, or 10 if there's 5 of them.
Right.
Because I think that we said that would give us the same credit card hit that we currently are doing, and kind of be right in that sweet spot.
Yep, that's what I have too, yeah.
Yeah.
$2
So
per
I
day,
didn't want to
yep.
misquote that, but that was what I have in the system's
makes
already,
sense.
built with those
Yeah.
numbers.
so $2 per day, either 4 or 5 out of the month.
So
Either
we're saying $2 a day, but they will see $8 or $10 because they'll sign up. So for example, I believe in January, there's 5 weekends. So they
Right.
will see if I sign up for January Saturday mornings from 8 to 10, it'll cost me $10 because I'm getting 5 Saturdays. However, in February, I believe there's only 4 weekends. So they'll see
Right.
that same sign up will only cost them $8 because they're only getting 4 weekends. And actually, February also has 1 date that's booked. So that one will be even less. But February is the only, I think it's February 7th is the only date we're not allowed in there. But that's how it'll work. So we kind of know internally it's $2, but they won't see that. They'll see 8 or 10.
Now, if they sign up for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, then it's going to be twice that amount.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So that's per session.
Okay,
And it's just a selection. So they'll just put 2 items in their shopping cart if they're signing up for 2 days.
oh, for both Saturday and Sunday for the month.
Yep.
Okay,
The opening for indoor is only going to start 1 week ahead because I'm not offering cancellations or refunds. So I wanted to make it nice and close in so that people weren't saying, well, I didn't know what I was doing in a month. So because, that the logistics of that would just be crazy. We can't offer that. So the annual membership will open at the beginning of December, just so people can kind of sign up for that. But the indoor will always open 1 week before the start of the month.
so that will be the last week of December.
Yep. And then the last week of January, February will open. And then the last week of February, Arch will open.
Week of preceding month. Okay, so the question came up, what if somebody becomes ill, out of their control? In situations like that, what do you do?
Yeah, so for example, like volleyball, we have very few cancellations because we have such a long cancellation timeline. So we have very few because most people, they're far in. I've had somebody send me like a medical bill, a medical doctor's note saying they broke their ankle. I can make some individual exceptions, but basically the logistics that I can't choose to take on is, oh, well, I can make 3 of them, but I can't make 4 of them. And my buddy's going to come in and take the 4th and blah, blah, blah. I just can't do all those swaps, with how many people are interested. It just the logistics would be too much. So unless it's something extreme where, again, I can make, an exception. You broke your ankle, you're probably not playing this month. We just wouldn't offer cancellations.
Okay.
Or refunds.
All right. And is there a reason why you decided to go a month rather than say 2 weeks at a time?
Yeah, it was the price. So to keep the price at that, again, this is just internal conversation, but to keep that price at that $2 a day price tag, the credit card fees wouldn't make sense for people to be spending, you know, $4, $4, $4, $4. We get hit with the credit card fee every time. So to mirror what we're already doing with volleyball and yoga, which is $8 per night, we kind of stayed in that same realm.
So the credit card fee is less if it's a longer period of time?
No, the credit card fee, I never remember how it works, but I believe it's a credit card fee that we get hit with, but if there's a larger amount, we still get to keep, you know, more for that fee, right? Because I believe it's a fixed fee. Rick, you seem like you want to say something. Is that correct?
Yeah, I thought it was, I thought we had a thing where, you know, you have to, you get a minimum or else you get a fee on top of, right? Because, you know, a $4 charge doesn't meet a minimum value. Therefore, you know, you get an extra service charge on top of that. So that's why we were trying to do it, you know, keep it with 2, but do it with, you know, kind of a 4-week window.
So a larger amount.
It
Yeah,
just makes
just
it
so it
worth
just
it on our end to take that credit card hit.
Yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay. And when will you be sending an email to members? Will that go out that last week?
No, I'll probably send it, well, for opening the annual, I'll send it sometime in November because that'll open the beginning of December. And then for opening, I'll probably put a short blurb in there about indoor and say, you know, stay tuned for more details, just so it doesn't get too lengthy. And then I would guess also early December makes sense to me, just so people can kind of be thinking ahead. And then they have, you know, 3-ish weeks to look at their schedule, decide if this is for them. And then that last week of December, we'd open.
So the November email will be primarily for renewing membership fees for 2026, but you'll also kind of put a little blurb in there about the indoor fees.
Yeah, just to kind of preview it and say, but stay tuned for a more complete email. And then I would say early to mid, but probably early December would be the complete email about indoor.
Okay. All right, and there's just one thing I was going to request is this confusion that occurred when Eileen went into town hall, and I emailed the board last week. I actually, Chris had checked with you to confirm November 1st as the startup to deactivate, but so Eileen got involved, and then she made it sound, the email that we received made it sound like it wasn't on the schedule at all. So she really muddied the water. So going forward, I was going to ask you if just please don't include other people other than myself on your emails, because it just gets very complicated and unnecessarily confusion. But because I noticed that you responded to Eileen, Dennis, and Denise, but I think it was only because they were the ones that were involved in the confusion.
Correct. Yeah. And actually, I will say it was a happy accident because Joe had originally put it on and it looks like that didn't get translated to Dennis. So we were good, except for we weren't, but we didn't, no one knew we weren't good. So it actually worked out great because it, you know, they were able to double check and they kind of found the old note that never got translated down. So it really worked it all out. But I can absolutely honor what you're saying, which is let's just keep you and me, and then you can disperse the information.
Yeah, and as in previous years, I usually check Denise anyway about the locked doors, just to double check, which I had intended to do anyway. Yeah. So that was that.
Yeah. But yeah, we can do that, and it did catch a miss from the transition of town manager, so that really ended up working out, even though it wasn't the procedure.
Yeah. So I'm almost done. I moving on. Signs. I can pick those. I can pick those up at town hall.
Perfect.
That'll probably be the easiest. And those, just to make sure I understand, those come out of our budget, our yearly budget, correct? The cost.
Yes.
And can you provide me with an invoice? Because I have to keep track of what we're spending.
Yes.
Is that possible to get that from you?
Yep, I believe she sent it over today or yesterday, so it'll
Okay.
be right at the top.
All right. And then the other thing that came up was, storage shed. No need to order that now because,
Okay.
yeah, we'll wait until spring for that. I've been in communication with, is it Jeb from Mendon Upton Youth Soccer? And we were discussing sharing the costs of a porta potty. And their time period runs the same as ours, April through November. Would that be possible to do? And if so, how would we do that? Would, it's through Able Septic is the company.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you all were looking to have it from November to April.
No, because, at this point in time, there's not a lot of people that's dropping off.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make any sense to rent a porta potty, during the coldest months.
Okay. I'll give them a call because I thought that's what you and I had decided was where soccer left off. You
Oh.
would pick up and then we would kind of alternate. So I will give them a call and make sure that that's canceled and they aren't planning on it.
Okay, so, but is it possible for us to split costs with Mendon Upton Youth Soccer?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's really independent. I believe they get permission, but other than that, they just coordinate with the company. They email us before the drop off and say, hey, can someone open the gate? But otherwise, that's really through them. And again, Rick can talk more on this if you need more details. But so I would just continue working with them and say, hey, let's split the cost directly with the company.
Okay,
Well,
so,
so
but
how?
oh, yeah.
How? What's the thought process there?
So
Is that a separate fee? Does that come out of, the budgeted allocation? What's the
Yeah.
thought process there?
We're thinking that would come out of our budget.
yeah, that's true. I guess it would have to be, we'd have to receive the invoice and issue a check for half to get sent to the company.
So what I was thinking, if I was going to call the company and ask them if they could do that, where they would send, one invoice to Mendon Upton Soccer and then the other one to us. And I mean, I can't imagine why they can't do that, but that was going to be my next step. Does
Yeah.
anybody see Rick, you see a problem with that or?
I guess the only thing if they're able to split the invoices, no, not necessarily. I guess then, I don't, I'm trying to think back to, that's a monthly cost, right?
Yep.
So, and, I forget exactly what the number of that was, but
150, I think.
I think it had to
So-
jump up because it was the ADA accessible one.
Oh, so it would be 200 then.
Yeah.
So it'd be 100.
So Mendon Upton, so the soccer group, I think, I'm not so sure do they normally keep that there throughout the entire summer as well?
I
Or
didn't think
did
they did, but according to him, he's saying they have it from April through November, but I
thought it got picked up mid-June and then
Yeah.
redelivered in like late August.
I thought it did too.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the beach is open then, right?
Right.
In summer, yeah.
And they're not on the fields anyway. So pickleball has the beach bathroom. Soccer's not on the fields in the summer months, so there's no need for a porta potty.
In that
Yeah.
case, it makes sense for Upton Pickleball to rent from, say, July, August, September, or just the months. People don't like using the bathrooms down at the,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wait a minute, someone would opt to use a porta potty instead of that?
Yeah,
Well, that just
I
tells you
know.
how bad the bathrooms are. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, people, they don't even want to go anywhere near it, but anyway, that's, but
It's also a lot more convenient, right? It's
yeah, having
Also
it,
walk
three
down the
quarters
hill.
of the steps less.
right,
Right.
right. As we get older, that becomes a problem, so, 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 okay,
Yeah.
that is for further discussion because I could see where we could rent the months where they're not there, but I think he did make the comment that we probably use the porta potty. They're paying for it, but we're using it, which is true.
Mhm.
Um, but that takes a big chunk out of our budget if we're going to be paying from April through November. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll take that back to the board and we'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
And the last item, I sent you, Maria, an order for 100 Selkirk balls. Did you receive that? We're down to the under 20 now. So
Okay. I apologize. Now that you're saying that, it's in my to-do, but I haven't hit send, so or order. So I will do that today or tomorrow.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
Thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Marilyn.
This has helped tremendously. So have a good rest of your meeting. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Marilyn. Good to
Join
see you.
anytime, Marilyn. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
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 All right. All right, Becky, we'll shift to you. You
Okay.
Still out there? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I am a longtime resident, 161 Mechanic Street, and a longtime tennis player since I moved into town 40 mumble years ago, and love playing tennis. And I have encountered an issue that I'd like to bring up to the board, and that is in June, I went to play tennis at the Kiwanis Beach, and there was a sign that had the schedule for the rest of the year for the Kiwanis club, the Kiwanis courts for pickleball and for tennis. And I developed a schedule with my neighbor that we would play at 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoons. And that worked out fine until we went recently to play and we were told that the schedule changed. And the schedule was written, it was changed with a piece of tape written over 4 o'clock to dusk. And I went on the website and the website did not change. And but I was told by the players who were there, and there were many of them, that was the way it was and that was the way it was going to stay. So my question to the board was, how was that decision arrived at? And were the tennis players taken into account, and changing the schedule in midstream seemed to me to be unfair to the tennis players. And so I'd like to stand up for the tennis players in town. I realize there are fewer of us, but we are as passionate about our sport as they are about theirs. And so I'd like to just bring that up as an issue and hope that this doesn't happen again, because it seemed to me that it was not the right way to do things. And certainly the tennis players were not considered. At least that's the way it seemed to me. So I'd like to bring it up to the board. I did try to leave you a message, Maria, on your voicemail, which was full, and I sent you an email and it didn't get responded to. I went to the website, which is what the town clerk had suggested, and sent an email to the email address, which was on the website, but it didn't get returned. So here I am.
Hi. Well, thank you for joining. I am surprised to hear that you didn't get my response, because I had responded, and then I saw your email come, your contact, the director come through again. But I definitely appreciate you continuing to follow up, without receiving that back. But to clarify, the conversation that I had with Pickleball was something we would consider for 2026. That was not a change that was being made, but they were asking to be made for 2026, and it would be discussed with the board. So I think maybe there was some miscommunication. I wasn't the one with the tape and the marker, so we'll need to go check that out. But I definitely, I don't know if you know any of the people on this board, but we definitely take tennis into consideration when we do talk about the schedule. Like you said, the numbers are not there, but they are tennis courts. They're not pickleball courts.
Right.
And we bring that up in, we have to honor that they're tennis courts first, which have designated times for the pickleball club. So I guess to answer your question, it wasn't a thought through change because it wasn't a change that we approved. And I'll discuss with them, there must have been some sort of miscommunication between a proposed change for next year versus an approved one for this year.
Because when I spoke to them, I said, look, I took a picture of it. Here's the picture of what it said in June. And I was wondering how that change happened. And they said, oh yeah, go away, essentially.
I'm sorry for that. Yeah,
No.
it's they're very passionate. They can be territorial. And we do try to communicate with them that this is tennis courts.
Well, I
But-
appreciate that because there are a number of us in town. And then I went from there to the court at the Memorial School, and there was a doubles game going on there that had just started. And so there was, it wasn't possible to play that day. So, and
A double,
I planned around it, and I was wondering, they said, oh yeah, it's till dusk. And so you can't play. And
a
so
doubles, a doubles
and I-
game at, a doubles game at Memorial of what sport?
Oh, tennis. There were 4
Okay.
tennis on them, and so there are tennis players in town.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it. I was hoping that it was tennis versus more
Yes.
pickleball going on up there as well.
Yes.
No, it was
Even
tennis.
though that's really, boy, that's a really tight doubles. I mean, that's at best a singles court, right?
we
It-
make
it's small, right? So
yeah.
yeah, it's not a regulation court, right? I think we know that. So
That's fine, and I do play there as well from time to time. So I just wanted to bring it up to the commission and stand up for the tennis players in
Yep.
town,
Yeah.
because I know that we are considered a minority, but we love our sport too. And as you say, they are tennis courts, and it would be nice to have dedicated pickleball courts in town, but that's not, I'm sure, in the budget. And so we're fine with sharing, but once the schedule is established for the year, it would be nice if it was kept to, and so we could plan around it. And because, some of us work and,
Yep.
schedule
Yep.
around that, and we're happy to accommodate the pickleball players as well, but want to make sure that tennis is also taken into account. And so we appreciate it, and that's why I wanted to to talk to you about what had happened. And
Yeah.
I understand
So-
that football
So
is
just so I'm clear on this, so we put up new signs regarding pickleball hours in the spring. Are you saying that somebody taped over that new sign?
correct.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, I
They put
had
a piece
taped over the old sign. There was an old sign posted on the shed structure, and that did not those hours did not coincide with the new signs that we put up on the fence.
This was on the fence.
Oh, that's weird.
So-
Okay.
I taken a picture of June so that I would know when the pickleball hours were, and I consulted it when I went to play. Somebody had taken a piece of tape, put it over
Jeez.
the 4 o'clock, and
Wow.
written.
Interesting, because I think the old sign said something to the effect of dusk, and I taped over that sign on the shed just so that
Oh.
the new sign was
Yeah.
clearly the hours. That's
Okay.
weird. Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarification on that. Good.
Oh, Becky, they're very, very
Uh,
passionate, but I'm right there with you.
Okay. Very
I'll bring a
good.
razor blade
Well,
down
I-
there tomorrow.
My friends in town who are tennis players said, we need somebody who is going to stand up for our interests.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yes.
Becky, we got you. I'm
Yeah.
Mhm.
this is, this is the first that I'm hearing of it as the chair, right? And I just did a quick search. I don't see an email that had come through, so it must not have gone to a recreation alias. Maybe it just went to you, Maria. So
Yeah.
um,
It was a verbal conversation at one of their meetings that I attended last month. But again, proposed,
Yeah.
not approved.
Right.
But I
Wasn't
definitely
on the
appreciate you
website.
letting us know, because I think they got excited and there was
Yeah,
a miscommunication.
It's on the website. So I thought that
yeah,
if it had been an official change, it would have appeared there as well, but it did not. So, okay, fine. Then,
It-
I-
they're not getting all day every day. They are not.
Yeah.
Plain and
They-
simple.
I think as a next step, maybe we should make Marilyn aware of this so she can
Yeah.
communicate with the members and say, don't
Yeah.
mess with the signs.
okay.
Now I'm
Yeah.
kicking myself. Becky, I wish that you went first,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? Because Marilyn, who was on before, she is the liaison for communications in with pickleball.
Yeah.
So it's been a much better situation with her as our point person versus others.
Mhm.
And I think that yeah, as the others have eloquently put it, right? Someone else got excited and went gung ho and changed it, even though they didn't necessarily have official approval.
Right.
Sometimes they do seem to think, and I realize this is recorded, but they do seem to think that, just because they ask and we don't give them an immediate no means they can. And that's not correct.
Yeah. We'll let
Okay.
Marilyn know.
Okay.
So,
Let's keep
Very
Becky as.
Thank you, Becky.
Yay
Again, I'm sorry that my
tennis.
emails didn't reach you, but I definitely appreciate you
I'll look
popping
in
in.
my email. I apologize if I didn't see it.
No, it's probably on my end. I actually have a meeting with IT about my email issues on Thursday, so it probably was mine.
again,
Again, every
Ugh.
few months it just
Oh,
goes
I mean,
haywire.
technical difficulties can get in the way and lead to
I
misunderstandings.
know,
yeah.
Thank
but I
you,
appreciate you
Becky.
speaking up.
We are so
All right.
happy to have pro tennis. We really are.
Well, I'm happy to be heard, and I really appreciate it. Thanks so
All right.
much.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Becky.
thank you.
Bye.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
All
All
right.
right. That was
Yay,
exciting.
Yeah.
pro tennis.
Yeah, I know it. So I did attend a pickleball meeting last month. I can't remember if it was before or after our meeting. And there was some rhetoric that, there really aren't people playing tennis. So it is nice to have some proof,
Yeah.
that it is their tennis courts that are designated times and not pickleball courts.
I think people probably got emboldened too, seeing the tape on the old sign. We should just take that old sign down, I think,
Yes.
and just get rid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in the mode to go down there and take both signs down.
I'm
And
going
say,
tonight.
say,
dress
I
in
don't
black
care
and
if
go
you
down there
said this, right? You're gonna tape over it, then what's the point of having a sign that says ours? Are you gonna just
Again,
take it
I
down?
wanna, I will speak up that it's very, as Marilyn said, when too many people hear and then you get the telephone game, benefit of the doubt, I'm hoping somebody from the committee misunderstood, maybe, even told someone and someone said, hey, I'll help out
Yeah.
and fix. So I'm gonna hope
Yeah.
it's that, and
Hmm.
we'll get it corrected.
It'll
I
work
like
out.
benefit
Yeah.
of the doubt. Always a fan of that.
So what was the extended ask that they had in the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, it was that's why I assumed that's
Was
what it
it-
was. It was
Was
to
it
go
every
earlier.
day?
It was just in the, what are we in, fall. It was the Tuesday, Thursday, fall afternoons, because they said it gets so dark and people are trying to come from work and all that. Can they have earlier to dusk instead of, I believe we were doing 5 to 7. And they said, it's dark at 5:36 sometimes. But it was, not approved.
Yeah. Yeah, so Okay, so maybe it's just one of those that, maybe I just need to go back and get a refresher on the hours that are approved for them. Um, just in general. So, I mean, so they have them, they have them on Tuesdays and Thursdays as a later option today.
Yes, so we have, so all year, we have every morning, and that changes, it's 8 to noon for everything but summer, where it's 8 to 11. And then, oh, I misspoke, it's actually 2 to 4, we did that last year. So, and then in spring and summer, it's 5 to 8, but last year they had asked to bump to 2 to 4, or they had been 5 to 7 in the spring, or sorry, in the fall. And I can share this. But last year they had asked to go earlier, so this must mean that they're looking to go from 2 to dusk. And I, again, didn't say yes. I did say I would talk to you all, and I did say that we have tennis players. We have already, extended it a lot of times. They have a lot of hours, but I would discuss with you all, and there we are. But I can share if you want to see.
Yeah.
But I believe last
Yeah.
year we just bumped them to that early 2 to 4 period, instead of the later because of the getting dark.
Yeah, so certainly going to 8 in August isn't, it probably does. Late August, it probably starts to get a little darker, so.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's where we bump down all the way to 2 to 4.
okay,
But it's still just
So-
2 days a week, because my thought process was the other 5 afternoons stay for tennis, and outside of those blocks can stay for tennis. Because we only do have 2 afternoons for pickleball.
yeah, and, I mean, now granted, it's right now, it's what, 5:50-ish or thereabouts before it's dusk enough to make you pack up and go until
Right.
daylight savings time, right? And
Right.
then obviously
gets
it'll
worse.
become 4:30. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not necessarily in favor of extending that. I mean, if they wanted to change that to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing instead of a Tuesday, Thursday to give some people other afternoon options, maybe that's one thing, but tennis players, like she said, and even they will admit, right? They can't necessarily get out to be playing at 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
They need, they need an opportunity to be able to start 4:30, 5 o'clock as well to try to get in some time. So I'm not necessarily in favor of going past a 4 o'clock window.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yep.
And I think,
So-
in our conversations when we had this permanent sign made, was we talked through every scenario saying, once we make a permanent sign, we're not changing the times again.
Yeah.
We made a
Do you wanna
permanent sign.
Do you need to see the sign? I have it up.
Yeah, actually, that would be great, because also, one part of it says PM or AM. Like, one part of it just says the wrong one, and I always meant
Yeah,
to
we changed
ask.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think
had
it
that
got
changed.
printed. I think it got printed with the wrong AM PM, but I assume most people will figure it out.
Oops.
Yeah, it's the Tuesday, Thursday, and the summer. Actually, I think it's all the Tuesday, Thursdays. No, I guess it
No,
did get
no,
changed.
I remember we caught that and I changed it before I had the signs printed at Signs Plus.
Oh,
I
good.
think
Yeah.
Signs Plus might have made a mistake. I had to go double
They
check, but
did.
Marilyn
They-
pinged me on that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
so
and
all
I went back
all
and
the
got,
11s are really AM, right? So,
Right, that's what it is. It's the summer end time.
right.
Yeah.
Though this may
But
be an older version.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I think I do think maybe I said go ahead and put tape up for that, but I'll take that one if anyone put tape up on that one. But yeah. So that was I'm hopeful it was a bad game of telephone. And we will pull down that tape.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple other guys that get together and they go down and do some tennis stuff,
Yep.
you know, outside those windows. So you know, yeah, there may not be a lot, but it does still get used for tennis, and therefore I'm not really looking to, you know, make a different splash at this point.
No. And in the summer, really those courts are completely unavailable for tennis until, 4:30, 5 p.m. because of kids at play, or
Yeah.
maybe at the earliest if we get off. So that, and then we have 5 to 8 for pickleball twice a week. So in the summer, there's already really limited times
Sure.
to then transition to fall and have even, and then cut out times too. They just opened up and then to cut those down. But anyway, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Fun.
All right. Okay, so let's see here if we get back to normal agenda stuff. Thought I just had the agenda up. So meeting minutes from September.
They're coming.
Okay. So I was, and no worries, right? I hope the lighthouse over
Yeah.
couple day overnight thing was awesome for you.
It got there was the nor'easter, so it got canceled.
Oh, no.
No.
I called them up and I'm like, I don't want to be stepping from a small boat onto an iron ladder going up a lighthouse. So
Oh,
we
crud, Chris.
rescheduled to next May, and the weather will be much better, I'm sure.
It will
Ugh.
be.
Yeah,
It will
but
be.
there was a bunch of there was a lot going on in September, so
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
get those out in the next couple of days.
Yeah, no worries. I was looking and I'm like, all right, wait a minute, you just
Yeah.
referenced, you just referenced something. And I'm like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
I missed them. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, no worries.
I'm sad
Okay.
for you, Chris.
It'll be fine.
Well,
We'll go next
well,
May. It'll be good.
hopefully, hopefully that's rescheduled without a rescheduling fee.
No, there's no fee. They were good. They were
Good.
good about that. So
Cool.
yeah.
All right. All right. So, Maria, I did see your email go out to Kenny on what in the world is happening finance wise. and I haven't, I didn't get a chance to look to see whether or not he replied yet.
Mhm.
Did he?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
He basically just said they're still closing out the previous fiscal year. And he did give a snapshot of our current accounts, but he said they're not official.
Great. And okay, so I assume I'm on it. I just haven't seen it yet. Okay. Was that did he reply back to all of us?
I think so.
Hold on.
I mean,
can
I got
he-
it.
Yeah, okay, so. Yeah, all right. Allocated, expended, ending, okay. All right, well.
It was Monday at 10 p.m. if you're scrolling.
Yeah, no, I did find it, so it's just a matter, I didn't, yeah, it was late last night when he sent it, okay, so I just hadn't gotten to it yet this morning, so,
An appropriate
or-
time to
or
respond to
or this
business email.
afternoon, or tonight. What was that, Laura?
An appropriate time to respond to business email.
Yes, yes,
10
That's
p.m.
business hours though,
We
right?
all do it, yeah.
well.
We do,
hey,
but
Hey, at least it wasn't,
Ignored.
this upcoming Saturday or Sunday
Mm,
at that time, right? That's kind of what I was expecting it might be.
I am a
Oh,
fan
right.
of scheduling though for 8 AM.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Fair. All right,
Mhm.
so, all right, so he's got some of that. I'm not 100% sure what that piece of it means to us, though. So I guess we'll take a look at that later. I guess the big question that I'm gonna have is, you know, I'm assuming at some point they're going to be looking at us for 2027 financial plans. So you know, I know I hadn't necessarily looked in Vadar, but you know, is there data in there? Do we have enough data based off of what's posted anyway to kind of close out 25?
I would say no, only because we have some data. So this is updated through what Vadar has for our expenses through September. As always, the revenue is just my internal because it never matches what Vadar says.
Right.
But and honestly, even like the payroll numbers never matches. You know I print reports from SubItUp, and yet somehow Vadar has a different number. So luckily they're quite close, but I don't know how it's possible. But anyway, so these numbers are, you know, based on the tracking that we do, and the ones in yellow are the ones that don't match. Just so I can see them. But
Yep.
you know, it's most of the stuff you'd expect, especially with this low, you know, budget time of year. We don't do a lot of expenses. We don't have a lot of revenue, but things like, you know, the volleyball isn't in here at all. But we've submitted, you know, and Jerica's been paid. You know, she typically does a couple months at a time, but we're not all the way back to July.
Sure.
So there are things like that that are missing. So
Yep.
it's not perfect. And so I would say, to answer your question, to make budget decisions, no, but to generally know where we are, yes. And I haven't compared this to what he sent out just because it was last night. So I haven't kind of looked and looked at I'll scroll down, try not to go too fast. You know, I haven't looked at our totals and tried to side by side compare to what he wrote and see, does our internal match his? It should, because at this point, I'm just copying what line by line what Vadar says. Just because it used to be so crazy when I would use our expense reports and kind of put them in and then use it to try to cross-check, it was always wrong. So I said,
Yeah.
you know, at least for information, his is the record. Let's just keep this list of his.
Yeah.
So it should match because it's his list.
Okay. So that's
Does it?
So that's
I don't know.
So that's for fiscal year 26. So that's where we are,
Now,
you know, fiscal year to date. But
right.
what about fiscal year 25?
Yeah,
Right.
25 is not fully up to date, because once again, there are some, you know, not official numbers. So
I was gonna say, did it switch over and I just didn't see it switch over, but there it goes.
yeah. So now this is 25, but these numbers are not accurate. And actually I'm looking, like, I must have marked these negative by accident, things like that. So there definitely is, to be ready to make budget decisions. I can see even one issue I made, but also there's stuff that I know is missing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And that
Yeah.
typically happens. And then when he does official, you know, we kind of catch up. And so I often just print out the full every expense of the entire year, go line by line, make sure they match. You know, even if it doesn't make sense, I just take out the ones that don't, because we have to go with his official. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's, you know, again, I think it's just more of a, you know, the numbers as good as they can be. Can we start making sense of them?
Yeah.
Does it give us something, right? Because my, I have no idea where we are on a Joe replacement.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we know it's coming. Dennis is probably starting to look like me on top, right? Because if he isn't, he should be pulling it out to look like me by hand by now. Um, to, but to the point where I do expect some finance guys to then come and hit us with a hammer,
Yeah.
right?
I
Because
think typically November, December is when they hit us with those questions, and then they're due, December, January, everybody's late February type of thing. If I'm
Well,
remembering correctly.
well, I would tend to disagree that we put it together. We've kind of got our sample size. We do a narrative of of how we got there, and then they start looking at those in like the February timeframe, and then ask for a meeting to go, why this, but that, and the other thing, right? So I think that February to March window is the time that they usually hit us with a hammer. But I am expecting a big hammer to whack us,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
If you guys remember, Laura, I know you weren't there, but in the meeting that Laura had called, right, to kind of get all the groups together and have that, I remember Paul distinctly stating, right, if you have $100 to spend, you can't spend 120, right? And
Yep.
I did feel that, that was probably pointed, dead smack at us. And, it's hard to, I'm not going to argue against it because we overspent, right? There's, we went past the 270 number. But at the same time, you know, if we're not able to get real-time numbers, what do you want from us?
Yeah.
I
And
can't.
the fixed
Yeah.
costs, I'll go into it more later, but I had a meeting with Grafton Rec today about their finances, and I've talked to Mendon, and, I asked Grafton about some of, their knowledge of some of the others, and I'm reaching out to them, and I'm saying, what fixed costs are on your revolving funds? And it's a whole lot less than ours. Their
Hmm.
office supplies aren't on there. Their professional development isn't on there. Their director pay, if they have 4 people, 3 out of the 4 aren't on their revolving,
Right.
and they're working to move the 4th off.
Yeah, right.
That's more of the standard practice. So making decisions about budget and saying, if a program is going to cost this, I need to make this or I don't run the program. That's one type of math. But if it's, I already have, $200K in fixed costs, it's going to happen. And
Mhm.
I'm just finger crossed that we actually make enough. I understand what you're saying. We went over the 270, but we looked and there wasn't a ton that we felt comfortable pulling out. We didn't make any big purchases. I didn't go to professional development. We're not even part of mass recreation memberships anymore. I checked today, to see if we are part of that group so I could start going to the meetings. But we're not even paying, like we really whittled it down. We don't do office supply. Like
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's no big differences. Those are very big differences.
there's only so much. So I agree with you, and I think we might need to be a little bit louder, not when we're getting yelled at, but maybe other times, about for us to be able to make decisions. Like you said, it's not timely information, and there's some numbers that we can't do anything about.
Right.
Also, they voted to up my pay, which again, I'm not complaining about, but I have to make that money now.
Yeah.
And they, put the program director pay on our budget without taking any off of mine.
Right.
Things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I just-
no. I'm 100% with you there, and quite honestly, our move to do more things electronically versus taking cash. I understand cash isn't necessarily the easy way of going about things, but it's a hell of a lot less of a charge at the end of the day with then, all the credit card statements and everything else that ends up coming through. You know, yearly things with pickleball in not pickleball, in volleyball.
Yeah.
Soon to be pickleball as well, but with yoga and all that, it's small, but lots of small start to add up quick.
Yep.
So
That's the way of the future. I mean, how are other places handling it? Let's be real. That is what it is.
no, I'm with you, and but at the end of the day, you know, I guess we need to see exactly how Kenny is accounting for some of that, right? Because if that's, we're taking in, let's just say we're going to take in that $8 fee. So there's a revenue of an $8 line, but then there's a charge at the end of the month that says, hey, here's everything for your credit card statements. And oh, by the way, yeah, that $8 piece ended up costing us X amount. Well, that hits the spend line, and it makes it, it's in reality, we may have only taken in $650, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to end up showing it that we took it in at 8, and say we paid $1.50 out in credit card fees.
No, and I get that, Rick. I'm just wondering how other places are dealing with that, because we're all dealing with the same thing. Realistically, everybody's using credit cards, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What makes us different, and why are we hurting more than others?
Yeah, and I think again that's the purpose for the meeting with Grafton Rec, and it was
Yes.
a lot of back and forth. We talked programs, we talked water testing. It was great, really good kind of check in. What do you guys do? Type meeting. Again, Dan and I over in Mendon do that with each other, and it to answer that question, what are you guys doing? And
Yeah.
their eyes went a little whoa when they heard that we really, other than site improvement, and yes, now we've gotten lifeguards and beach directors off, but primarily we got to make everything we pay. And I think the short answer is I don't think other towns are doing that, to the degree we are. And when, we're trying to bring in 270, but 70 of that is of the expense side is just my pay. We can bring everything down 70 if we don't
And
have to pay
still.
for me, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying do it all in one fell swoop. They even said, take a quarter off over a 5-year span, 4-year span. But I think, unfortunately, and this seems like the conversation we will have to have with the new town manager, is that's what everyone else is doing. I don't think there's another fix that we're not. And I even told them, in Grafton, they were like, well, what programs are you trying? And I'm like, well, we can only try programs that cost us nothing if we cancel, because we need to not take the risk. And even the programs we try to do it fall, winter. If it does cost us anything, we're digging more in a hole before we know what our revenue is. So we have to try to go spring, summer, and that's already busy, and they know that. So it's nothing you all don't know, but I think unfortunately the town's decision to build a rec program that's self-sustaining, if they want to grow or even maintain this level that they've gotten, it needs to be a little less self-sustaining. It needs to be a little bit more supported with the fixed costs.
And and quite honestly, if we are able to start shifting some of the some of your pay and benefit things off the books, not off the rec revolving, and get it into a standard town line item for resources, which is in my mind, the proper way to go. Well, what we can do on the back end, not increase prices, right? And keep things affordable for families to send their kids to summer programs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rick, you heard that about the price of the enrichment opportunities over the summer, the field trips, people had to choose 2 days instead of, or 3 days instead of all.
Right. Correct.
But yeah,
That
we
was-
need to address that, because if we're comparable to some of these communities, I really feel like we are. And if we can't be comparable, we need to look at why we're not.
Yeah, and you know, again, this meeting was really helpful in kind of solidifying that we're not crazy, right? We're all what we talk about and their responses are very similar.
Yes.
But you know, they were even saying their costs to the beach are quite low because they don't have any of it on their budget line, on their revolving lines, you know. Even I believe Snack Shack, I might be misquoting, but I believe like Snack Shack stuff is covered for them, so they can do like hot foods. They go with Cisco, they have a person command. And they said, and our beach prices are still lower than anybody else around because we just have set money aside and we spend it, and that's it. We don't have to make it up, so we don't have to increase our prices to
Yeah.
keep up with all the other steps. And that
And
was
our
one of
beach
their,
is
you know,
better. Honestly, our
Oh,
beach
there's
is
no
better.
doubt about it. Our beach is better than theirs. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not the
And our-
bathrooms, but yeah.
I think it's better. I mean, we're not on a freaking highway is basically what it looks like. So
Yeah.
so anyway, I know this is a little bit, you know, pie in the sky of let's just do this. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen in 1 year. But I think we need to be a little bit more of a squeaky wheel, because the last few years we crossed our fingers and hoped we didn't go over. And then this past year we did.
And we've started off, you know, here we are. We are at the end of October, and you know, outside of mail last night that came in, that was the first time that we had any inkling of where the heck we are for this fiscal year.
yep.
Mhm.
And it's not presented in any way that we can actually understand. You know, again, not to put more work on Kenny, but there's got to be some sort of format that he can type a number into where just the words mesh with a
Mean-
non-accountant brain.
Yeah.
You know, when
Yeah.
he says negative 159,000 and whatever, just put that next to a word so I know, what are you talking about? What is that number?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that needs to be on Kenny. I know Joe always says, you know, his hourly rate makes that not worth it. But is there someone in town who
Somebody
can
should.
just swap that over and send out financial information to the departments that they can understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, or at least we get it back to them and kind of go, okay, right, you know, this number here, right? Remind us of, you know, put it in my non-town accounting methodology. Put it, if this was my checkbook, what does this mean? Is
Right.
it adding money or is it taking away money?
Right.
Right. So,
Right.
you
Because
know,
Yeah, and even going over, but we have extra money, right? Because we start with a certain amount. So we went over, but we didn't go below zero because we had the padding, which is why we actually didn't get slaps on the wrist. Although, you know, when they really look at it, we might.
yeah.
Right.
Are we though? Yeah. What's the balance?
I think that's what his showed. Yeah.
That's what we don't know.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong, but I believe, actually I put it on my director's report. I believe we went over, and this is just me guessing on how to read it, but I believe we went over by 35,000, but we
Oh,
still ended positive because we started with like 180,000. So instead of that 180 bulk growing, it went down to 147 something. It's still, you know, on the plus side. That's my best guess. I've met with Kenny at least once a year since I've started, and I still am not sure, but that's my best guess on how to read that.
Got it. All right.
Is this all public record? Just curious. So if somebody stepped in and felt the need to scrutinize our account, they would be as baffled as we are.
Unless they know how to read it.
Well, yeah, yeah, correct. Right. Unless if they're knowledgeable in town accounting practices, it might make perfect sense to them.
And I
But
do
it could
think
look
that's
bad for us, is what concerns me, is it could look
Sure.
bad.
And I think that's the point of the
Yeah,
annual report, is trying to say, hey,
Yes.
we're going to use more words to explain what each department did, because all of our internal stuff, which are public record, that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to digest. So we're going to
Right.
put it all in a
Yeah.
book that's easy to digest, and you can flip through and see what everyone did that year. The
Yeah.
hard thing is it's all after the fact, right? You can't do anything about it if you
Well,
have
exactly.
complaints or issues.
So
Right.
if somebody, just for the sake of being bored, went month to month, this is going to be problematic.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yes.
yeah, yes, correct.
Now, I
And-
am not
and
that person. I am not
Yes
that
and no.
bored.
it-
But
and-
we still didn't cost the town any money, right? Like, because it's a revolving fund and we had a buffer, we dug into that buffer, but it's not like we pulled money from taxpayers to cover our deficit.
Right.
Now, again, I don't want to keep being like, sure, it'll be fine. We have this buffer, because that buffer will go down if this keeps happening. But that's the point. So yes, it's not good that we went over, and the finance people are going to say, you can't do that. But I don't think like a taxpayer would be like, where, what the heck, you cost me an extra $10 a year. No, we didn't. Right. If I'm understanding this all correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I'm not-
yeah,
I'm not so much
Absolutely
worried about
right.
that. I'm just thinking overall, looking at it,
Yeah.
as I'm finally starting to understand finances for the first time in my entire life.
Congrats.
Yay me!
Yeah.
No,
Household
no wonder
I
why
got
you're
it.
under the weather.
Peace out.
All right.
And it's
Um,
funny, right? Because I used to be good at this. All my other jobs, I was the best at the budgets for everyone, because it was just don't overspend, right? This whole crazy fiscal year and making the money at the end. That's what has got me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's when we really have two sources of revenue, and it's a little at the start, a lot at the end, and it's the lot at the end that we're hoping catches back up with all the spend that we've done.
Right.
Right, which is it's a really weird way to go about it. So yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, okay. So let's move on from that. So you want to run through the director's report?
Sure. So I'm gonna say we did finance. Great job,
Yep.
us. Where
You've already talked
is-
with Grafton. Okay.
So meeting with Grafton. So just a tiny bit more about that, but basically they actually called the meeting, but I had pinged Cody a bit ago, and we were just saying let's touch base. So this was a great time to do it all. So they were asking just about our programming and questions, and really collaborating with them. I'm not super sold on their version of collaborating. I thought it was going to be more of the archery model, which is one person runs it, and then we all add registration to make sure these programs can run, but each department gets, their little cut for whichever person from that town registers. So the way archery does it, if 2 people from Upton register for archery, there's probably 12 people in there from all different towns, but we get the revenue from 2, and we pay the archery people their fee for 2.
Yep.
And it just allows these programs to run.
Yeah.
If I understand what Grafton's asking, they're really just asking for help with marketing. Really just saying, and if you want to show up and kind of be part of it and say it's more collaborative, but I don't believe it actually is any income on our end. We shouldn't do it. I do like the idea of maybe building some relationships, but I do think that I have some hesitation putting things through the Upton Rec marketing, social media and website that doesn't actually benefit us financially in any way. So I'll think about that more, and I definitely want to know your opinions. I also, again, could have misunderstood, but I think that's what they were saying, which is really they would run the registration through their website. And the part I could have misunderstood was they still would run all the registrations, but they would just give us little budget transfers. So I have to double check their meeting on that. In my opinion, and I want to see what you all think, if we do get some percentage, even if it's small, because, what does it hurt us to throw something on social media and the website and, market it out. But even if it's small, I think we should do it. I think it's a great way to get these programs that they're trying to run more publicity, more, a wider audience, especially they have a whole adapted and inclusive coordinator who's trying to get some of the adaptive programs up and running, and she's struggling with attendance, and so that's where they're pinging some of these other towns to say it's a lower population already, so if we have lots of towns trying to bring all this together. So that, I don't know what your thoughts are on it. If there's no financial gain, is it still something we want?
I'm going to say yes. I think it's important. That's just me and my inclusivity.
And but I'd also want to see about being able to track, how, if we are having signups, how many are we sending over, right? And does it make sense to continue in that type of a manner, or do we actually think that we've got enough interest of our own to be able to figure something else out that is our own in the future?
Right.
Without setting it up, losing your hat,
Right.
Sweatshirt, shirt, and pants all at once, right? Knowing that it was on a wish and a prayer, right?
Right.
I'm going to kind of speculate, and I could be wrong. Like archery, I don't know that this is anything that we're going to take off and fly on our own. If we could, yeah, that's a valid point.
I mean, maybe
But I'd
try it
rather
for
have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
I guess just maybe try it for 1 year and see how it goes. Like you said, Rick, I mean, I think give it a shot, and then if we don't see that there's any benefit, and maybe we change things later.
Or
It could open us up to new markets and new activities, and I
'Cause
love the inclusivity. Sorry, that's me.
Sure.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and I do think there's two conversations, because I don't think we have the resources to right now run our own adapted program. So that might be
Right.
one conversation versus another. But yeah, I see those as the decision might not be the same for the two styles.
right. Yeah. So no, and I'm with you, right? And I think what I meant by that is sign up for it in that manner where, we kind of maybe we point them or redirect, or it signs up and then we pay it out or something. But even if it's not a money grab, I guess I guess it does depend on what that number is, because you do have a couple of them that end up signing up, and next thing you know, there's another $1,000 that hits the spend line, right? For say $1,000 in revenue that's coming in. So it's still a zero-sum game, but it's now another ticker for hitting that spend value. But
So you
but
mean
then again,
sorry, I'm confused. How would you mean to ask about us getting a certain percentage?
Yeah, I mean, if
Or
we
fee.
were, well, I was thinking of it like the archery, right? Where, they sign up and then, it, right? Because archery, you sign up through our site and then it just redirects over thereafter, right?
Right. So basically we just make the person who runs it an instructor. They're an instructor on all of the town's pages. So they just check us, they check Medway, they check Hopkinton, and they say, all right, we've got 12 people total. We'll run it. Or we've got 3 people total. Let's cancel.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a great system. I think Grafton is looking to funnel it all through their website, and it's again no fault. It also is great marketing for them. More people, more traffic through their website. It's good for them. I'm trying to decide. So let me back up for a second. One of my fears is starting it and stopping it and making that maybe a tough relationship. To say without any benefit to us, we will absolutely market for you, and then saying, hey, we didn't get any benefit, so we're going to stop marketing for you in a year. To me, my worry is that will make a strained relationship. Whereas maybe we say, the town policy is that it does need to somehow benefit, if we're doing a joint venture, but maybe we only get 5% because you're really doing all the work, or maybe we get 2% because you're doing all the, whatever
Yeah.
we're talking about here, but just kind of saying like, if we put stuff through our marketing scheme, it does need to benefit the town of Upton in some way.
Sure. Yeah.
I guess
Again, maybe
part of
not with
me-
Adapted, but with the
Right.
others.
Part of me is seeing it sort of as a like introduction to the market type of thing. These are areas we might not have gone into without Grafton, but I see what you're saying. Do we get anything out of it?
Because it's not traffic through our website, right? It's not,
Exactly.
it's not like they're going to our beach and then they say, oh, this beach is nice. Maybe I'll go to Kids at Play here instead of a different camp, in wherever, Hopkinton, just to have a non-related to this conversation town.
Right.
But right, like, and I don't want everything to be what about us, but I do think
Oh, it needs to
there
be done.
is a hesitation to post and publish something through our town accounts that in no way is getting a benefit for the town of Upton.
So circle back for me, Maria. Compare that to the archery.
So with archery, we post it on our website. People
Yes.
sign up through our website. They can also sign up through Hopkinton's website. They can also set up through Medway's website. It's all the same program.
Yes.
But whichever one they sign up through gets the hit, gets the little bit of
Got
percentage.
it.
And then however many people sign up through our website specifically, we also pay out archery for, them putting on that.
Right.
So they get most, we get some, but they're doing all the work and really all we have to do is publish it. So it's a low effort,
Yeah.
low payout, but not terrible. With Grafton, it would be registering through the Grafton website. So no
Got it.
one's coming to our website.
Okay.
I could be misunderstanding where they're still saying, well, everybody from Upton, we'd send over a certain percentage, but that wasn't my
Right.
understanding. So
Okay.
unless I
I
misunderstood.
see.
Yeah,
I get
that
it.
makes sense. I
And
was trying to-
again, I do think that Adapted might be a different conversation because it's
Yes.
just something that benefits everyone for this to exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe dig into whether they kind of come up to the same agreement with archery exclusive of the Adapted, because we don't got that.
Yeah,
Could
maybe
we
just
do a
make
little
sure
more
I'm not
digging?
misunderstanding.
Yeah, do a little more digging if you don't mind. That's kind of my take on it. Because if it's an introduction to the market for us, that feels good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So moving forward, and then they just asked about water testing, and I answered what I could, sent them along to Diane. So we're good there. Site improvement, basically everything's on pause, to be honest. When I reached out to Dennis, he said they're really not approving funding for things until the new town manager's hired. He's more in maintaining mode than anything new. But Mike did get in that application for the grant for the bathrooms. He is still waiting to hear back, but that has been submitted. So that is still possibly moving forward. He said he's hoping to hear back in the next week or so.
Okay.
Pickleball, we kind of talked about it. But yeah, Dennis agreed that it's fine for the town not to get their kind of utility and cleaning fee from us for 2025. I didn't run this through you all just because we had to make a decision for the dates opening, but the argument from Pickleball was when people first registered for 2025 pickleball, they thought it included indoor. So to change now and say at this point it costs money, surprise, but there's no refund or partial refund or anything where it's like, well, why I wouldn't have done it, blah, blah, blah. So it seemed fair. Dennis didn't seem too bothered by it. And then starting 2026, kind of the same person as the tennis person said, you know, you make a decision for a year, stick with it. So that was kind of my thought process. Hopefully you all agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then for the cost, again, I want to double check it's what we were deciding, but $8 if it's 4 weeks, $10 if it's 5 weeks. There is one date in February, I believe it's a Saturday, that somebody else has the court covered, so we'll bring that down to $6 for that section. But that'll be the only one. Signs Plus, so we've been going back and forth. The signs are finally ready. So I'm picking them up Thursday. As you heard Marilyn say, I'll bring them to town hall. She'll pick them up from there. And then that will be done. We did have a back and forth. They had asked for a storage bin to kind of compensate for the one that got hit by a car. We ordered it. It took a long time, then it got lost. And then finally got through the refund process. You know, it's got to go to claims and it's got to do this and that, and it's a third vendor who was the actual delivery person, blah blah blah. Anyway, it took a few weeks for Home Depot to finally say, like, we're calling this our bad, here's your money back. So I ordered it again, and they said, oh, we don't have one of those, that's not a product we sell anymore. So that's, I guess, why it got quote unquote lost.
Lovely.
Yeah. I don't know if the first time that was still true and they just claimed it got lost or what, or if that was a weird timeline. But I got an email at like 10 o'clock from someone from Home Depot being like, hey, we're refunding you, that product doesn't exist anymore. So as you heard Marilyn say, they're going to just pause on ordering another one at this point. It was really something they wanted for the fall. We're sort of past that point now, just because it's been, you know, almost a month of back and forth with all of this, and they'll reset in the spring. Art program. So going back in, had been going back and forth with that art teacher. She really just decided that she couldn't fit in her schedule the things that were possibilities for us. Looking at right after school, so people could go directly after school. It was for younger kids, so I didn't want to do too late in the days, or weekend mornings, things like that. And she just was looking at, her family and her work schedule and said, we just kind of can't come to a time that works for everyone. The more like drama intensive program with Matt, he's still trying to work out the details. He kind of hasn't gotten back with budget. I suspect this is going to be way out of our league budget wise. A lot of these people have quite impressive resumes and I don't think we're going to be able to afford them. They want to keep it small. So 8 kids, you'd have to divide the price of all these people times 8. Up 8, but they do want to keep it small. So I'm not planning on this going through, but he is still looking into it to see what he can do, and if there's maybe a more simplified version that could work for us. But I know he is working with Hopkinton Center for the Arts, so I know he's just kind of busy with a lot of that stuff, which is why we have slow moving responses and details getting worked out. So I'm guessing this also won't work. I did reach out, I didn't put it on here, but I did reach back out to that STEM program that we tried last year. They are going to try to see if they can coordinate a non-Lego based STEM program to try to offer. Last year it was Lego based, and we heard a good amount of response of people saying, that's everywhere, we want something different. Everybody does the Lego STEM, can we just do anything different? So he's looking into that, and we'll see what he comes up with. And that would be a winter break program.
Okay.
Do you have any input? Can you give them input? Because I would say coding. People are all about the coding.
Yeah, I don't know from what I understand, this is a program that they facilitate instructors like all over. I want to say maybe even the East Coast. I can't remember if this company was that one or if it was more regional, but last year I talked to a couple different companies, and they basically just have like their one local instructor. So if that instructor doesn't have that set of skills or to be, the products, I think typically it's one of those, everybody has a box and they run through, building this, and you have a little car that moves or something. So I think creating a brand new program is probably not something, but I do think he's it sounds like maybe he's hearing this feedback from others. So he
Yeah.
said, let me look into seeing what we can get pulled together. So to be determined.
Just
But I told him
saying, from my
we'd probably,
perspective, coding is huge. People would be all about that. I know people would
Yeah.
spend big money.
yeah. I would suspect if he was going to do something coding, he could do like 2nd to 5th grade coding. I don't think it's more of the higher end. I think we'd need, if we really wanted to do like a coding 101, I think we might need to reach out to like a Quinsig. They might have like an adjunct professor who we could, I think it would have to be something along those lines for coding. If we want to do little kids and they just learn what it is, I think it does need to be something physical.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that is just developing market.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I hear you. Concert series, honestly, I haven't done any updates with these groups. Laura, we still need to schedule that marketing meeting.
Yeah, just text me separately.
Okay.
That's easier, really.
Oh, yeah. And then, so for our goals, so I put them here so we could go through them. And again, life, there hasn't been a ton of progress. I've been, slowly working through the how-to reference materials. I asked Grafton Rec about if they do any professional development events, things like that. So small steps, nothing major with these. I did talk to Debbie about a combined marketing newsletter, especially for our slower seasons with the library, just because it makes a little bit more sense than trying to do a whole one for our fall and or winter.
Yes.
But we'll see what goes on there. But this one,
Okay.
so I had a memory that we changed this because we were saying that that's really been handed off to Dennis and Mike. But correct me if I'm wrong.
So I think we were wondering whether or not that was going to need to be done. I vaguely remember Joe telling or asking us just to make sure, like if there isn't a grant available that covers the work and there's a spend amount that is going to be needed to do this, that we want to make sure that we have kind of the residents behind us to support the cost that would be associated with doing the work.
Okay.
Now, maybe that'll change, right? Because obviously I saw the other piece as well saying, for, kind of,
Everything's on
pre-looking
hold,
at some of
yeah.
the other pieces that, even though Dennis came to CPC and was talking about some stuff there, I had mentioned to him about, we still have the dugout stuff going on, and he goes, yes, and he would like to keep things progressing towards doing that. Although, maybe no official awards and bids and that type of stuff would be ready, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we drop, kind of the investigation of, what the work, what the final solution might end up being, which strategy, which cost structure, that goes along with those strategies. Because I know we took a look at the 3 or 4 options.
Yep.
Right. But there was no other data that went with it in terms of, well, hey, I really I really liked option 3, but, that's just because I got expensive taste, and that one was $20,000 more than the rest, or something along those lines, right?
And
We
I
had
don't
no
think
idea.
we even had a budget for any of them yet.
There wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It was just rough drawings of concepts. So it was
Right.
like, yeah, and again, like the concepts, but what's the brass tacks underneath them,
Right.
right?
We need to make an informed decision to have an opinion. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
yep.
anyway, I we'll keep it there, but I had a memory and I wanted to, chime into your memories, because these days it can't trust myself with all the brain fog. But I had a memory that we said, so many parts of this have been kind of pulled off of our department and really put more on Mike and Dennis. But we can kind of put a pin in it, see what comes out, see if there's something else that should be slid in, in place later.
I still think if there isn't a grant that could cover some of the other work to be done to do the required repairs and ADA accessibility and all that for that area, I just think that's where if it isn't there or fits within a model and we need to do something outside of that, then we need to kind of get a support team together to kind of show how bad it actually is and where it goes from there. So yeah. Right.
Just getting back to that first bullet about the newsletters. That reminded me that there's a monthly Upton newsletter that we may want to tap into with regard to programs that rec offers, looking for a new program director to replace Drew, that kind of thing. And I think we're past the deadline for the November one.
Okay.
But
is that digital? That's not going out.
It's if you go to the Upton website, there's the October newsletter, and if you look that up, it has like the special town meeting, the DPW update, and this was discussed at the all commissions meeting down at the community center, and this was requested by quite a few people to have something in lieu of Upton Town Crier type updates of stuff. So I think we should definitely tap into that for the December newsletter. And I mean, I can ping you guys and remind about what we want to put in that when the deadline comes up. I can respond to the person who reached out to me asking for what do you want in the November newsletter kind of thing. I think I sent an email out to everybody, but didn't get anything back. So I'll ping everybody again. Once I get the deadline to be in the December newsletter. But that might be a good opportunity to just, I mean, if everybody in the town reads it, or a lot of people in the town read it, we may as well advertise and have that as a platform, an additional platform for us.
For sure.
Yeah, it's great.
So can I add something that I mentioned like a year and a half ago, and then it dropped off my list because my life fell apart, as it always does. I mentioned how much I dislike our current Upton Rec logo, and the idea of having maybe the two high schools, I'm thinking juniors and seniors, make submissions for a new logo. And then we vote on it. Whoever we decide votes on it. Maybe we reinitiate that idea. How do you guys feel about it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Small reward for the winning one to make it more of an incentive, or
kind of something tiny. I came
not
up
huge,
with this because years ago my daughter was at Medway High School and they were looking for a new logo for the Arts and Performances Society, and she happened to win. So this is why I remember, and it was the tiniest thing. She got like a bumper sticker of the logo that she designed. They gave her a clock that probably cost, a wall clock that probably cost $3.50 with the logo on it, that kind of thing. Very, very minor, but bragging rights. They can put it on their, their resume or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun idea, and I'm very willing to spearhead this and come up with some sort of a marketing thing. And I think both high schools should be involved. I don't want to just give BBT because they're artistic. They shouldn't have full reign on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
Let's see. Did I graduate with the art teacher at Nipmuc? Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, no. You can no longer have voting rights on this thing.
Conflict of interest, Rick.
Yeah.
Actually, the funny thing is that she may go, Rick, why just ask your daughter to do something, because Ashley was one of one of her students that, she was like, she's really good. Like, she should go to art school, and yet she's a nurse.
Oh, that's the one I met, right, Rick?
Yeah.
Yes, lovely, lovely young woman.
Yep. Yeah, that's her. The only one I got. Yep. The only daughter I have.
Yes.
Right. My son was not there. So yes.
So any thoughts of who should have the voting rights on this? Is it just us? Do we want to open it up to anybody else?
I don't know how to do this, but I'm sure there's got to be a way to do like a poll through Instagram or Facebook or something, where, maybe you put, maybe we decide on the top two and we say, like for this and heart for that or something,
Yeah.
just to get
Yeah.
some traffic.
Okay. Yeah, so
I
if you're
don't-
all good
yeah.
with that, give me a few days to a week to 3. and I'll get rolling on it. But I really like the idea, and as much as we might have too much merch with the logo I dislike, let's freshen
Yeah.
it up.
We
Yep.
get new hats then. That's good.
New hats, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say we did just put in the last meaning most recent big order of shirts. So I typically do a large order to get us to 2+ years worth of shirts. And we did just do that last year, but maybe we can find some way to give them away or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Raffle items, giveaways, show up at the summer concert, here, have a t-shirt.
That reminds me, I never ask you all, but I get pinged sometimes for a summer pass for a raffle. Library does it every year. I think parents group did it one year. I just say yes. You all don't have a problem with me not asking you, right? I kind of
Oh,
assume.
God,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
No,
Yeah. I
raffle
mean,
away.
if we were getting abused by requests, that's one thing, right? But yeah, I mean, if we're talking, 2 or
1
3
to 3 a year.
yeah, it's 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah, library does it every year. I think last year we had 2, including library. So
Yeah,
that's why I kind of didn't
I-
even think to ask because I assumed, but
Well, we
Misco,
have a lot of stuff.
Misco usually uses it for, there's a basket thing that they end up doing. It's part of it. So,
Hmm.
yep, it's just a matter of, is there a discount, a certain credit code that, can be provided to them. That way we know what it is, and,
there's a letter that I sign that says, this person gets a free pass, and they just drive up to the gatehouse and hand it over, and they give them a little sticker.
Yeah.
Low tech.
but I think there's even that, or I think we've even done, in some cases we might have even done like a week of camp.
That's a bigger deal.
That is a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$65 versus 240 something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a bigger
Yeah.
deal.
But maybe I don't know, the winner of the logo contest can get their pick, 1 month of a program, volleyball, yoga, pickleball, something,
Yeah, that's good.
That's
Okay.
a good idea. So if you guys wouldn't mind just throwing your ideas at me via email, and then I'll start coming up with some marketing stuff and we'll finalize it.
Right.
We'll get ourselves a new logo, by damned.
There we go.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. All right,
All right.
cool. So let's see. Heritage Day.
Yes.
So Laura, why don't you kick us off?
All right. So we had some mishaps, which does in fact happen. We ended up not having an official spot, but Rick to the rescue, got us a spot. We did in fact land right in front of the library and the Historical Society sign. So we were mistaken for the Historical Society for a better part of the day. But we got a decent stop by, I would say. We had a few people actually engage in the beading festivities. Some really good questions. One I mentioned earlier today about the cost of the programs in the summer, and that was, I think, realistic. Rick and I kind of talked a
Yep.
little bit like, well, these are the cases that it happens, prices go up, but I think it was good for us to hear that.
Yep.
By way of input. I think it speaks to next year, and not on Chris at all. But next year we need to just like revisit early enough to make sure we have secured our spot and all of
Yeah.
that. I think beading, in my mind, continues to be a way to go with some giveaways, but welcome to other ideas in terms of what we offer.
Yeah, because the other trinkets, yeah, there was a couple that left the table, not
Yeah.
very many. Right?
But we're
So-
going to have a better and improved logo, so those things are going to
People
fly
didn't
off the
want the-
table.
The individual band-aids, people didn't want those.
There's
It
there's
actually
actually
holds like 3 to
there's
5,
actually
and people
3.
did like those.
Yeah,
Okay,
there were a couple
So-
people that actually did like them, and there's
okay.
and there's 3 in it.
Yeah,
It holds
Oh,
3.
there's 3, not
Wow.
1.
It
Okay,
holds 3, not 1.
Wow.
So
you're good
was-
for half a week.
it was
Don't get
it
too
was
injured.
triple worth it.
that is good for a family, for a mama that's just out there and might need it for a knee scrape.
Well, plus we'll have the vintage old logo T-shirts. That'll be collector's items, so
Yes.
we can hand those out.
Yeah.
I think for the next year, I'll take on securing the spot and all that kind of stuff and making
Chris,
sure
that's
all that
not on
lines
you.
up.
That
I
is
mean, I
not
did
on
it.
you.
No. I mean, things got complicated with family. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
Of
weird year.
course.
But and I think, because none of us were solid about I will get this done. I think that's where it happened. And so I'll take on Heritage Day for next year and make sure that we get a spot, etc. I'll be the Heritage Czar of the Rec Commission.
And I'll be the heritage bead czar.
Bead czar, yes, because I'm not good at that.
And many thanks to Rick for showing up and staying with me. I really thought it was going to be a solo event, and I was like, this is going to be the most boring
that's
day of my
awesome.
entire life.
Yeah, no,
That's great.
and quite honestly, I had a 12 by 12 canopy. We got it set up, so
Nice.
it was a nice sunny day, but we had shade because neither Laura or I are really all that sun savvy,
Olive skinned.
right? Yeah. So so in that sense, it actually, that also worked out well.
I would
You know,
call
had
it
a couple
minor
tables.
success. It wasn't a
No, I
huge,
mean,
it was a minor
couple
success.
tables.
Yeah.
I actually brought over some other chairs to allow some parents to sit while
Wow, that's
kids were
good.
beating, right?
Yep.
Which we had the room for. We might not have the room if we're in the common. But then again, we wouldn't have gotten all the heritage, or historical questions
Historical
that
questions.
There
came
you go.
that came to us by being where we were. So
And a
you know,
personal
kinda-
gain, I met one young guy who is on my caseload, and I met his father, and it was
Yep.
so meaningful to me. So yay me.
Jameson,
Jameson, way to
Oh,
go,
yeah.
Rick.
I remember, right? Well, because it's also that unique name. So
Jameson's teachers both adore him, and when I mentioned this, they're like, "Oh, you got to meet him." They were over the top. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
5 minutes
So,
well spent for me.
yeah, and so kind of going back to the comment from one of the moms, which was, it was a very unsolicited comment as well, but meaningful, right?
Mhm.
Where she said, we got to choose 3 items because that's all we could afford for the extras. So, so parents just, they put the limit on it and they said, you can choose whichever 3 you want, but here's, but it can only be 3. So it was what it was. And, even, going back and forth and saying, well, we understand what the ticket price is, what the bus cost is, and, the number of seats available to get us there. And then, it's just math, right? To, really make that a zero-sum thing. But cost of everything are up. So that's unfortunately just what it is.
But it was
Then we got
meaningful.
the bad news. Do you remember the bad news?
Remind me of the bad news.
Douglas Water Slides is going to be no more.
That's
Oh.
right.
Wow.
Yes.
And I've since talked to a couple of different folks in Douglas, because obviously Douglas is one of the towns of which within the soccer communities we do things. And so I've talked to a number of people, and they said, yeah, the owners have said, this past year was the last year that they're going to do it. I think the slides probably are due for like a major overhaul for safety purposes,
Mhm.
and the insurance cost is astronomical, and it's just not in the spectrum anymore. So, oh boy.
Time to start digging for new ideas.
Well, and that was one of the things that I think we had talked about before, right? And I think someone came back and said, hey, enough with the
farms,
the multitudes of farm,
The
right?
farm.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Do a couple, throw in another Douglas Water Slides, because no one's going to turn that down. Well, yeah,
But we
Mhm.
can't have that.
yeah. Not if the water's not running.
But
Right,
not too many farms. What are we gonna do? Too many animals,
Yeah.
not enough slides.
No, I know. So yeah, I don't know of another little place around that has that type of a environment. So yeah, I'm just not
I'd
sure.
offer my backyard and chickens, but they said no more animals. So what
I
can I
did get
say?
the-
I tried.
I
Yeah.
did get the Grafton list of things that they do from last year. So we can scan through that again and
Good.
take a peek and see if there's anything we want to add on. They were really good and very communicative when I asked them about stuff.
Great.
So we can take a peek and see what they have and maybe fill in some stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just mentioning that just because it was new news that we learned there, and we went, you're joking, right? Like we were kind of like, oh man, please tell us that that's not going to be the case. But I've heard it from a couple other sources within Douglas that said, yeah, unless something drastically changes, the owners are not planning to re-up that piece of it. The beach part will still be there and open, but that's it.
And we've got
We
a
have our
beach.
own beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Rick remembers that, and I remember Jameson.
Yeah,
Well, you remember
So-
Jameson too.
I did, right? I
did.
absolutely did, right? Yeah, so anyway,
But I would
But
say
yeah,
it was a good event. I think we learned a few things, and we've got room for improvement, and that's what we aim for, right?
well, yeah, so I do think regardless of where we are, I think if we have signage that we could slip in a sandwich board
Mm-hmm.
that lists, I almost want to say kind of for, like summer season and then the rest, right? Which kind of talks about kids at play and summer concert series, kids at play field trips, summer concert series, and then other things that could be done the rest of the year. Right? Just
Yeah.
something that's a little bit more recreation program things that we have. Even if the bottom of it is, ask us about our programs, right?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines to spur some of the conversation, but something else that actually state that where recreation.
Mhm.
And maybe a
So-
couple of new tablecloths with our brand new logo on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Laura always
it-
thinking big.
And to be honest with you, it's somewhat dirty, sure, but the orange actually was kind of cool, right? Because it was fall in
Yes.
kind of festively fall, right? I think is how we had coined it. So, you know,
So
I
The
think in
pumpkin
that,
spice
and-
tablecloth.
So we
yeah,
keep the tablecloths, we launder them heavily, and then Laura finds an embroiderer to include the new logo.
I like it.
all right. My wife started taking sewing classes, so
Oh, she might be the new
Ah.
embroiderer.
yeah, yeah, we've got a traveling sewing machine, and she's been taking classes in Hopedale somewhere. So
Nice.
something that she wanted to do. Absolutely. So I don't know if she does those types of things, but you know, hey, I could ask.
If she's doing embroidery sewing, she will be up for this.
So anyway, okay. All right. So next on, we talked about the Upton newsletter already. So I think we can bypass that one. We kind of dug out stuff. So I think we can bypass that one. Maybe the only, review action items covered in the director's report. I think we're good there too.
My calendar, hold up.
I guess, I guess the only thing that I'm thinking is, so usually with the December piece, there's two documents that usually go along with that December. There's a budget narrative piece, and then there's a year in review type of recreation, kind of doc. So I just want to make sure that we're ready for those. We should seriously start thinking about cost elements for kids that play. I think we would be up for, I mean, I think at this point we probably need to assume, well, actually, we know that 2026 isn't changing, right? So we probably need to assume, without a new town manager in place right now, there probably isn't any Maria salary benefit stuff that gets taken off of a rec revolving account and onto a standard town budget line item. So with that being the case, we're going to need to probably up prices, or at least do a price review across the board for, realistically, we probably should do it across all, all segments, right? Not only the kids that play, certainly we can't do field trips unless we lock in on what we believe the field trips are going to be, but kids that play prices, gatekeeper, or the fee to get in and park, and then probably field rental things and that type of stuff. Maybe we take a quick gander at that. By the way, I think I forgot to ask, where's the light bill for the upper field go? You're on mute. So I know you threw your hands up, Maria, but
Yeah,
you're
Yeah.
not sure where that one goes. That isn't in.
it's not, it hasn't hit me. I don't remember what the agreement was. I know it wasn't youth soccer paying it, right?
Right.
But it hasn't hit my department, so I'm assuming general fund.
Okay. So it's so the town's definitely probably getting billed for it. It's just a matter of, whose bill did it get tacked onto? Because it's probably not, I'm assuming it's not the one that normally comes to us.
Correct.
Okay. Not, by the way, not that I'm saying let's go find it, but I don't necessarily want I don't want the surprise of going, hey, oh, by the way,
Mhm.
this piece is
You
from
owe.
from the fall because, obviously, they've been up there. They're probably using them right now. Well, maybe
Right.
not right now, but they were
Right.
using it when the meeting first started.
Right. So my question was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought this was one of the things we brought up in the initial conversations was, is this gonna hit us? And I thought, I don't remember where it landed, but my memory was that it didn't land on us.
So if that's, for whatever reason, I'm not remembering that, but I'm not remembering what the answer was in the first place. So, and that might have been one of those because, even though I know Jeb, they might have had that conversation direct with Dennis and Joe. And I just wasn't, I don't think they necessarily brought us into the planning events of what they were proposing to do up there.
Right. Again, we all know I do not have the weirdest memory, and especially these days. But my memory was that it landed with, we'll create a budget line to cover it because, we were sort of saying that can't be another thing on our revolving. There's no money coming in. Yes, these people can stay later, but it's not like we're charging them more or anything. Again,
Yeah.
don't trust my memory, but I had it that didn't land on us.
Okay, so again, let's not go surfing for it, right?
But we are aware of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it could hit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, well, I just, at the same time want to be prepared, right? If someone else comes in and says, hey, we're seeing this huge spike in electrical costs,
Mhm.
any idea what that's coming from? Going, oh, well, guess what? Kiwanis is, the upper field of Kiwanis is the one that's driving that. And next thing you know, someone goes, oh,
Yep.
yeah. So, okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So that's me just kind of thinking out loud. I want to make sure that, we probably would look at doing that. I'm gonna say we should be, not that we shouldn't have some ideas probably in a November meeting, but certainly in a December meeting, probably have them locked in. Therefore, if we open things up in January, we're ready,
Mhm.
right? So, and it's
Yep.
not all that far away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And
So,
assuming
Seriously.
that in the next week or two, finances will be solidified and we can, again, run
Right.
the report, figure out where everything landed.
yeah, correct.
Solidified,
Exactly. So,
like my
Um,
own personal, I get it.
um, uh, outside of a November meeting, and actually maybe we even like somewhat target a December meeting. Maybe are we interested in doing a December
Yes.
meal,
Yeah.
team
That was
meal,
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, let me not
Um,
get sick this time, please.
Yes, yes.
I still have no significant other, but God help me. Maybe one of these days.
It's just +1. It does not have to be a significant other. It can be
Can I bring a
anybody.
dog.
Sure.
Maria, would yours be 1 + 1.5?
+1.5. I know.
Oh
know.
my
Maybe we'll-
God. There's no halves. Don't
Yeah.
call her
Hey,
a
she
half.
can be my +1.
The
You
baby
can,
needs to
Yeah,
come.
you
race.
can help it.
Oh, there
You
you
need
go.
the baby.
You
Yeah.
can race, I get joy.
Right?
We
Take
have
it, eat in
learned
peace,
that
and Laura will take her.
we've learned that she's becoming a lot less of a restaurant baby than she used to be because she's
Oh.
cruising around, crawling, cruising, walking with a walker. She's everywhere. So we try to put her in those little seats. And she's like, no chance. What are you doing?
Ah,
Yeah. But we'll think of it as a date night. We'll get a baby, mother-in-law to
go.
babysit or something.
Him or Auntie Laura takes
yeah.
over.
You ready to chase her around a dirty
I will
restaurant
chase
floor?
her around whatever restaurant we choose.
There you go.
ah.
Hey, there might be two halves at that point. Who knows?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be the best news.
We'll see.
Laura's got them both.
Yeah. Yeah. We say as people who haven't slept in 3 nights. Yeah.
Yep.
One other small thing.
Oh, yep.
So my wife does Tai Chi down at the community
Yeah.
center, and she was wondering if the person who runs that may be interested in having that as a program that people can register for, similar to yoga, I think, on the MyRec, whatever that site
Great.
is.
Yep.
How do we go about?
If you put us in touch, it's actually super easy to throw a program up. Again, I just
Okay.
usually go over all the fine details with them of you don't
Okay.
get paid if we cancel, blah blah blah.
Yep.
But assuming they're cool with all that, we create a program, market it out, see if it takes.
Yep, I mean, they already have
Yeah.
people going, so there's a
Right.
start, but I think she wanted to maybe increase the attendance and have slightly more people come, so, okay, I'll get that connection made.
How much does she charge per?
It's $3 per session.
Can't beat that.
I noticed that
Depending
because
on how much
my wallet, I
depending on how
I
much
look,
the
I'm like,
pay
I thought I
is.
had money in there. It's like, it's $3 to $6 short.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on how much they charge, that might need to be upped a little
Yeah.
bit, but we'll see.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
You
And
are
then next
way too
meeting-
good about your finances if you notice $3.
No, it's because I went to buy honey from the guy down the street, and I knew that I had X amount, and I was going to pay him, and then I was just like, it was Tom Django. He has hives, and I said, and I opened my wallet. I was like, hey, Tom, I'm like $2 short, and he said, oh, don't worry about it. So this was last year. So this year I went in and I said, Tom, here's your $2 from last year.
There you
He's
go.
like, I totally forgot about that. I felt
That's
so
great.
hard. I felt so bad, and then I remembered it was Tai Chi day, so it was that accounted for the shortfall.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes me feel way better because I'm like, if you notice $2 to $3 on your bank account, I'm just screwed.
It's not even bad. It was cash in my wallet.
Wallet.
Like I
Cash
don't
in the
usually have
wallet, I will
cash, and I
notice.
was like, I need this for the honey, and then I just anyway.
Yeah, no, I would
Uh-huh.
notice that cash in my wallet because there never is any.
So next meeting, we're looking at November. If it's a Tuesday,
I'm showing the 25th, which is a little awkward, but I
The-
can do.
the 25th is a couple of days before Thanksgiving, and then the 18th is the week before.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I know,
Or if we go
You
back
know,
to Wednesdays.
well,
When-
typically we had Wednesday, but
Oh,
Yeah,
did we? Yeah, that's
Wednesdays
right,
would
right,
actually
right.
be better for me moving forward.
So
Okay,
the 19th?
19th or the day before Thanksgiving.
yeah, not the day before
Probably not the
Thanksgiving.
day before
Okay,
Thanksgiving.
19th then, 19th.
Does that work?
Thanksgiving Day works for me, but
I'm good with that. Everybody good
All
with 19th?
yep.
19th.
All right.
And then party day?
Yes.
Oh, you're way ahead of me.
Well, it was
Well,
brought
yeah,
up. We talked about babies.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if we want to do something like first week, just as long as it's not on a Wednesday night. I know I'll have a CPC meeting probably Wednesday the 3rd. So, if we stay to a Wednesday, if that does seem to be the best night, does that
That's fine with,
usually
yeah, fine with
work?
me.
So like the
Yeah.
10th of December, are we talking?
Well, hold on. I'm reading
Well-
Maria's face that says Wednesday's not good for two
Got
of
it.
us.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, yeah. So typically, RecCom meeting night means Grace babysits. If we're trying to include +1s, we need a different babysitter, and weeknights tend to be tough.
Sure.
So I don't know if like a Friday night
Yeah,
or like Friday evening, like a 5 p.m. dinner. But we can also go later. But I just mean I don't need to take on people's
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like the
Friday night
Friday,
plans. But
the 12th Friday,
for babysitters, it's harder.
Yeah, works for me.
Friday the
Yeah,
12th.
Fridays are much more open.
And we have time if it falls through for whatever reason, we can reschedule.
All right, so
Okay.
tentative for December 12th for a festivity.
5 p.m.
All right.
All right.
And then maybe if that's the case, then the 17th for the December meeting,
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
right? Just with the holiday season and everything else around, I'd rather just
Yeah.
try to lock some things in now. That's
Agreed.
Yeah.
that's where I'm trying to go,
The
right?
next week is
exactly.
Christmas week, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
I got that down.
Right.
Good.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Then all
rallied.
we'll have to do is figure out, kind of a different place to think about going to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now on a Friday night. Yeah. It better
Yeah.
be somewhere. Yeah. It's Friday night. It'll need to be around like a 5 o'clock time frame in order to.
Yeah. Have quietness, yeah. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
not busy,
yeah,
busy.
hit a table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find
Sounds
something.
good.
But yeah, I fully expect that'd be a +1 type thing, and if need be, and
Optional +1.
optional +1. Yep.
No
Mhm.
plus dog.
Or and yeah,
He's
in
not
Laura's
welcome
case,
anywhere, I get it.
We can't sit on a patio.
In Laura's case, she's asking for someone else to have a +2.
Mhm.
So I can borrow one.
Yeah. Is there a baby gym with a restaurant attached?
We can go to Chuck E. Cheese.
There you go.
Just somebody bring a +2 and I'll borrow
There you
them.
go.
Laura, you good in those like Habitrail tube things that they have at Chuck E. Cheese?
That might work.
Yeah.
Ball pit.
I've got lots of time to plan.
Yeah.
All righty.
All right,
All right,
guys,
very good.
thanks.
Good night.
All right.
So
have a good night.
adjourn 9:10.
Yeah,
Yep.
9:10. Yep.
Good.
Bye.